uniparty establishment really are hell-bent in keeping Donald J. Trump out of office. That's part of why I felt a special sense of responsibility to throw my support behind Donald Trump in advance of the New Hampshire primary. That's why I felt a special responsibility to be here, to call South Carolinians, to be able to send a clear signal to end this GOP primary before it can play out in the direction that Maine, that establishment want to see. They want to narrow this down to Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is not playing a game of collecting delegates. There's no way she is. She wasn't even trying to compete for delegates in Nevada. That reveals the charade and what this farce is really about. She wasn't even planning to collect a single delegate from Nevada. She's not going to collect a single delegate from South Carolina. How is she and her donor class planning to win? The answer is simple. They want to eliminate Trump from contention. I think the best way to avert that outcome is A, to call it out transparently, as I and others have done, and B, for Trump to have such a decisive victory within the next month. This primary should be over. Then they're going to try to do the same thing with the Democrats. They're going to move Biden out of the way. That's
Yes, after a stumble in Nikki Haley's home state of South Carolina, campaign analysts and voters say the longer she stays in the race, the more she may be running the risk of damaging her political future and brand. This is nothing but the truth. We have all seen what is going on. There is nothing Nikki Haley at this time can do. When you take a look at this article put out by NBC, Fight or Flight, fearful Trump critics weigh the risk of retribution if he is re-elected. You can see exactly why these people are panicking. If Trump is re-elected, something will happen to them. Any person that has criticized Trump.
This is so funny. At Donald Trump's celebration event tonight in South Carolina, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham got booed by Donald Trump's supporters when he took the stage. This is great. Take a look at the clip.
I call up Lindsey Graham and he straightens it out so fast. And I'll tell you, no, remember. I love him. He's a good man. Come up here, Lindsey. Come up here, Lindsey. Come here.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, Lindsey Graham, a MAGA senator, someone who has supported Donald Trump since he took office, is now getting booed by Donald Trump's supporters because apparently they think he's not MAGA enough. Also, Lindsey Graham is the senator from South Carolina. His own constituents who support Trump are booing him. It's so humiliating.
I said earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president. I'm a woman of my word.
Yes, according to this tweet, Joy Reid thinks Trump only won South Carolina primary because voters are white. This is a 92% white, overwhelmingly evangelical Christian, primarily elaborate in South Carolina. Even among the independent voters, who are about 21% of the elaborate, it's like almost 50 to 50 questions are to whether Joe Biden is a legitimate president of the United States. Now take a look at these.
Two questions here we've been asking in these early primary contests from the exit polls, and just wanted to get your read on these because we've talked about them a lot. I think they sort of serve as proxy questions in some ways. Number one, did Joe Biden legitimately win in 2020? That's one of the exit polls. Yes gets 32% of the folks voting in South Carolina, according to our exit polls. No gets 65%. So 2/3, 1/3 there. And then a question about if Trump is convicted, is he fit to be president? Should he face criminal conviction in any one of the outstanding 91 indictments he faces? You get, again, very similar numbers. Yes, he's still fit at 65. No, he's not at 32. Again, a sort of 2/3, 1/3. What's your read on that?
Right. And I think that you can go back to what Steve was just saying about the makeup of this electorate. I mean, this is a, 92% white, overwhelmingly evangelical Christian primary electorate in South Carolina. And I think writ large around the country, that is the way they think. I mean, even among the independent voters, who are about, 21% of this electorate, it's like almost a 50-50 question as to whether President Biden is the legitimate president of the United States. That is what the Republican Party is now. It is a baseline condition of being a base Republican right now that you do not believe that the 2020 election was legitimate. You believe that Donald Trump is the rightful president of the United States. You believe that he's the most electable candidate. That's also in these exit polls, more so than Nikki Haley, which there's no empirical data that supports that. And you believe that he should be president regardless of whether he is convicted of a felony, which he very likely will be in the next month.
Yes, this is not the first time Joy Ray is doing this. We observed this same sentiment, during the Iowa elections. Trump won. She could not just say congratulations. She had to bring in this issue of race baiting
Stuff in Texas. Now, I'm not saying she could actually get it.
Yeah.
But if you're the donor class that wants Trump gone, you tell her, thug it out for a few months. I'm going to put some more money in your bank account, because if he gets convicted, you do want to have a candidate with enough delegates to go that can be on the floor and have a floor fight with Donald Trump.
Yes, I mean, there's all the weirdness of it. He did have to read the names of his immediate family members off of a card.
He did get them all right.
And it's yes, it's true. There's that. There's the saying that the auto workers are with him when, as you mentioned, the auto workers just endorsed Joe Biden. But in terms of, what else do you look for in a speech like that? He didn't go on the offensive against Haley. He talked about the Republican Party being unified. That is a normal thing to say.
Trump won. She could not just say congratulations. She had to bring in this issue of race baiting, like it's because of white people. The same thing here. If Trump wins the general election, she will still say the same thing. I understand that is her job to raise bait, for ratings. It is insane. She cannot just sit, get a different concept, in handling, her program. Must she say this? I know it is in her blood. It cannot stop. There is nothing that comes out of this lady's mouth without race mixing it. I get irritated sometimes when I watch this show. I decided to put this clip so you can see her mentality when it concerns Trump and white people. Very crazy.
Victory speech, overwhelming results in South Carolina. We called it right at the top of the hour as soon as the polls closed. Back with the team here in New York. Melissa, you've heard a lot of Trump speeches?
Yeah, RIP the Reagan GOP. There's something so jarring about watching Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, all of who condemned him after January 6th, lining up to do their best campaign rally impersonation and saying this is the most qualified man to be president.
The night of January 6th, Lindsey Graham was saying he was,
I'm done with
enough.
him.
Enough.
Listen, it is the greatest political comeback in history.
You're up over Nikki Haley by close to a 2-to-1 margin, 63 to 30.
Long-haul truckers specifically.
Hell yeah, truckers.
Truckers, do you actually think you're irreplaceable? This is capitalist America. You won't do it. Maybe even an immigrant.
Legal immigration are okay.
And divided by class.
Are you sure?
Watch the water there.
I hate my job.